Hey everybody, how you doing? So once again, I feel there's another no coincidence scenario out there now, and this has to do with the missing scientists, certain passings, certain suicides. There are no coincidences with all this stuff, I believe. And I'm going to go back to maybe around the end of 2024, 25. In my meditations back then, I was getting codes, I was getting feelings. I was getting a whole bunch of stuff, some sayings, and it lasted a while. And in that, it was messages of unity, love, and the messages were galactic, you could say. And it all had to do with when all this information was coming to me. I knew it wasn't for the moment, but it was for a time in the future, not too distant future. And my feeling with this when they came was around the time frame between like 2026 and 2028. That was just my intuitive feeling that I was getting with that and from these. And that was these two here, these two decks. These were the end of 2024, more or less very beginning of 2025. And they're galactic messages from what I was feeling. So then later in 2025, somewhere around maybe March or so, I started to get in meditation and in what felt to be like astral dreams. I was connecting to it's weird because like I don't see really anything in these. It's more of a picture in my mind that comes with a knowing. Is the best way I could describe all of this. It's the same thing with the light codes. I'll like see it in my meditation kind of, but when I come out of it, I'm it's vague, and I'll get like certain things, but over time, it all comes out. And it was the same thing with this particular card deck too. The latest one that I have, it has to do with Lyra and their message to us. And these decks, I mean, I was just going through them and I was looking through the messages, and it's I'm getting chills. So I know this is like real. The messages are the same. It has to do with unity coming together, humanity waking up, realizing its potential, and to stop all the nonsense and the fear base. Everything is love. Everything is connected. And with these, I love the messages in them and everything. And like I said, to me, there's no coincidence. And the same thing with like this deck. I had the same feeling. It was telling me like the from what I feel, it was a consciousness type thing, entity, I guess, and it was called Jacob's Tear. And I just wrote that down in the after the meditations. I just gave it no real thought, but I was just not going to doubt what was coming to me because, like I said, I don't see, but it becomes a vision, a sight when it comes together. It's kind of strange. I guess maybe it's a download or whatever I'm getting in meditation. I'll get like the codes of that. But about a year later, I said, "Yeah, that's just too strange. What kind of name is this? What is this? Is it real? And I went online and I just started looking that up and I couldn't find anything. So then I went into AI. And in AI, it it showed the name. I was like surprised that even came up. And so then I had to like rephrase how I was asking the question because it would not answer just like a direct putting a name. And when I did that, I was amazed because the name was what I was feeling, what I felt it to be. And, I was like, wow, it's like, this is real. It was a collective consciousness type entity of Lyra. And in these, from when I either wake or come out of meditation, like I was getting that, like my soul origin is Pleiadian. Now that's, how to explain this. We're all from Source, okay, and Source Soul was put out everywhere to like learn and create, and these groups were formed that way. So Lyra, from my understanding of what I was getting, was attacked. They were pure peace, and they had to flee out into the galaxy. And one of the places they went was Pleiades, and so that's where I'm feeling like, yeah, I'm a Pleiadian soul, but I guess in the heart of it, we're all Source. But even further back, it goes to Lyra, which is pretty cool. And so, like, what I'm trying to say with like with all this, like, that validation was there for me. It was like, this is real. A collective consciousness master telling how we are descendants of all these beings in a creation created back by a bunch of beings, DNA, and that it's like our time to awaken. So the reason why I'm making this video is, like I said, there are no coincidences ever with anything. I suddenly get these a year or so ago, and this deck also a little bit later, and over an extended period. And like I said, I feel the time frame is anywhere now through like 2028. Yeah, something's going to happen to kickstart humanity into the next phase. And I feel it has to do with ET related disclosure. And this is what's going on, what you're seeing, like I said, with these scientists. And why would, you know, like the UFO community, the alien community, the scientific community with free energy and all of that, why would all these people just suddenly disappear or off themselves? Now, granted, in some cases, it could be true, that maybe people, in this, it's, they take so much abuse that I could see someone actually taking their own life, but maybe not also. It's too close to a time where things are being revealed or going to be revealed. And people, I really suggest this: look at the sky more, look up, because you may be surprised at what you may see. There's a reason why they're coating the skies. It's not only to poison us and to try and change the terraform the planet, it's also to stop us from seeing what's out there. They don't want us to see what's out there, because if what is out there is revealed, it destroys a lot of these systems that are in place, the belief systems. So let's say tomorrow everyone wakes up and they see a big ship in the sky, and maybe beings. What is that going to do to the reality that they have created or have been implemented in their belief systems? It's going to crush it, and it will open them up, and they will start thinking more critical, and trying to understand more. And they don't want that. They want you docile. They want you not thinking for yourself and just so busy you can't see what's going on all around you. with this, they're putting out disclosure, or so they say. The same thing with the Epstein files. You get drips and drabs. I find other stuff that they're not showing, and people won't believe half of the things that I say anyway. But that's okay. Each is on their own course. Each is on their own path. Each will awaken if they are meant to. But as part of my sole purpose here, I believe, is to try and guide people, to try and help people, to give people the knowledge that I know, and they can take it from there. You can believe everything I say. You can think I'm a crock of crap. I don't care. Like I said, I spent years of my life looking into a lot of this stuff and never saying anything. In libraries, microfiche, um, data. I mean, all kind of stuff. I mean, there's so much stuff that I forget, and sometimes when I hear something, it clicks and triggers into memory. I thought, yeah, I did look at that, and I did look that up. But there is so much in this world that you are lied to about, and it's not just politics. I mean, that's just the tip on the iceberg. It's every aspect of life, history, religion. You know, why we work, why we have to work. And the control-based, money-based system, the Babylonian slave system. So, in June, roughly, I believe there's a movie coming out by one of the people who are controlled, which is Spielberg, and it's Disclosure. So this is going to be set out to try and get the collective to see disclosure in a certain way so that they can try and manifest that into reality, because our collective consciousness is what creates reality around us. For all is the illusion. What we think and feel is real is just energy and a collective open consciousness. We yet are individual. We have our own individuality within the whole, because we are all one. So they will try to control this disclosure the way that they want it. So when you put that into the equation, does it not make sense that these people would go missing or disappear? Because these are the people that have been presenting the obscure, the unbelievable, what people don't want to face out there through their research. With them gone, who's there to question the narrative that they want out there? Well, little do these fools know, there is so many more people that know a lot of this stuff, but just never came forward and never would speak on it. But as time goes on within this too, you're going to have people become more vocal and more aware. Now, you also have to be aware, and you have to discern. You got to go within, and you have to, trust what you're seeing, trust what's out there through your own eyes and through your own discernment. Because there's going to be a lot out there that's going to be trying to lead you a certain way, to try and harness your energy a certain way, to have you believe a certain narrative so that they can try and push it forward, which is not going to happen, because no matter what happens, this comes to light, and it's going to be. There's nothing that could stop this. And they even know this, but their contracts, their thought pattern, their belief will never let them concede. So they will fight and fight and fight to the end. But the end is it is between now and 20 years out where things are going to be known. There will be nothing that can be hidden anymore. And People keep talking about, oh, we're in 3D, but we're going to 5D. No, we have to graduate. Just like we're still here trying to ascend, we have to graduate step at a time. Granted, there are some people that may take a jump from 3 to 5, but you have to go through fourth. Okay, and fourth is where I feel and I believe we become more aware. We become more telepathic. Now, when this happens, you cannot hide what you feel or what you're thinking from the person next to you because they're going to be able to sense, feel, know what you know. So the deception and the lies cannot carry into a raising of ascension to a next level, I feel. All will be known. I also feel that long ago, we didn't have the need to verbally speak. I believe this is another thing that was put into the system because our language is spells. Okay, the words that we use can be have multiple meanings and often do. They're derived from Latin and whatnot and all this other stuff. Where I'll give you an example. Like I never say, what's a common thing that people say every day? It's oh, good morning. I say grand rising. And people say, oh, are you awake? Well, good morning is it good to be in mourning? Awake at awake. So see, things can be taken literally different ways. Now, when you're saying this and you're putting it out there, you have a meaning of what you're saying, but you're still putting a different intent out there. So you're trying to you're putting the world into a state of sadness and fear. Whereas telepathically, that's eliminated. So this is what I just always hear people do. 3 to 5D, 3 to 5D. Once again, humanity trying to skip steps, right? And I also feel this too with the as we graduate and we go further, we'll go to the next level, and it'll be more of an awareness. It'll be more of seeing what's all around, which is going to balance out the yin and yang of dark and light, because you won't be able to hide anything anymore. Um, there's a reason why they say we have 90% DNA, junk DNA. Why would you have junk DNA? What would be the purpose of that? Why not just have 10% then? Because the 90% is stuff that was either tampered with or turned off, like a on-off switch for control. And think about this: we're only operating on maybe 10 or 11% of who we are, and look what we can accomplish, especially when we work together. What would it be like with another 90%? Limitless. We can do anything. So I just feel, be aware. Be aware of your surroundings. Look up more. Get out more. Ground more. Be with nature. Be by the ocean. Take more time for self and self-reflection. Meditate. Look up at the skies. And when things become more in the public, when they start disclosing information, don't just act on it right away. Don't let it enter your energy field in a way where it's going to bring in like a fear or an anxiety. Just look at it. Look at it for what it is. Take it in. Reflect on it yourself. Meditate on it yourself for what it is and discern. Is this real? Is this another line of BS that they're feeding me, or is it something that that they just want me to look here instead of here? This is how I've been for the longest time. I mean, I see things that come on. I'm like, I see where this is going to go, where it's going to be trying driven, and I just take a step back and I can observe, I can post, I can put all this stuff out there, and it doesn't affect me, whereas it used to in the past, because I don't give it my energy. I'll take a look at it, I'll analyze it, and a lot of the things I'll present out there to people, I'm probably not going to be doing too much of that anymore because everybody is on their own path. Even though I feel part of my path is to keep doing that, which I probably will with certain things. But I want everyone to awaken. I want everyone to go forward. I want the end of this slave system that we live in. I want peace, love, unity for everyone. And that's another thing that these three decks emphasized and kept pushing to me. It was authenticity. It was truth. It was unity. It's like these things are needed, and that's another reason why I speak the way I do and I put things out the way I do, because my feeling is through all the years and past resets and whatnot, and from what I see here anyway now, people don't speak up out of fear, out of whatever it is that's holding them back. And there's a reason why they censor people, and they don't want you to say this stuff. Sometimes the obvious is right in front of you, that maybe this needs to be said, and all these things need to be said so that the collective consciousness can hear it, decide for themselves, and this is what they don't want. They want a fixed narrative set out. And that's why I do what I do. I put things out there. I'll piss people off. Don't really care, because I'm really trying to help. But a lot of people understand. But there's always the few that you get. We're heading into a time that is going to look very dark in certain aspects of it, or at least depending on the level of frequency you're at, what you will feel and say. A lot of it is not true. A lot of it is projected upon you. A lot of it is just a scenario playing out that must be. Just be aware. Be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of all around you. Be aware of what gets presented to you, what is being put into the news, into, disclosure. Because there's going to be a certain way that they will try to present this to everyone. And I don't think it's what will be in the best interest of all of humanity. Which is why I believe they made another mistake in what they do. By doing what they did, by, hiding these people or offing them or whatever it is with the scientific community and the UFO community with ETs. Like what they did in 2019, with the BS. It made more people aware. It actually gave people time to look into stuff and become more aware. Another backfire. This is something else that will backfire, because they're bringing more awareness to what they're trying to hide. And it's like I say, nothing can stop what is going to come and what is happening. But we can control the time frame in which it does happen. The more you are aware, the more you love, the less fear that you have, the less doubt that you have, the more of community that you have, the more self love you have. As you raise the vibration, it also changes the timeline and the time frame of how things happen. So stop arguing, stop fighting, especially in this spiritual community. Like I said, I just recently did a video like on this. Cut the shit, people. Okay? We're here to help. We're here to bring people together. Not, oh, I do this. I'm better at this. This one is this. This is, cut that shit out. We're here to help people, and we're here to ascend and to bring people together in unity. So with that, wish you all a beautiful weekend. And just one other thing too, I don't know if you guys are feeling this the past couple of days again. There must be another wave or another energy shift because I feel like very wonky. And yeah, I just know it really got to ground and something's going on. Something else is going on. I just feel it. With that, I wish you all a beautiful day. I love you all. And unite, don't fight.